In this video, I'm going to go over how to solve equations that have variables on either side of the equal sign. So I'm going to start with this equation here, negative 8a plus 14 equals 3a minus 30. And I'm going to split the equation down the equal sign so I can see the left and the right-hand side of the equation. And I'm going to notice that there's a negative 8a on the left-hand side and a positive 3a on the right-hand side. And our goal is to get both of those variables on the same side of the equation. I like to move the one that has the lower coefficient because that way I'm avoiding some work with negatives. So this one is negative 8a. This one's positive 3a. Negative 8a is the lower coefficient. I'm going to add 8a to both sides of the equation. Negative 8a and positive 8a I can cross off because they add up to 0. So I'm left with 14 equals 11a minus 30. I'm going to add 30 to both sides. Negative 30 and positive 30 I can cross off because they add up to 0. So now I'm left with 44 equals 11a. I'm going to divide both sides by 11. 11 divided by 11 I can cross off because 11 divided by 11 is 1. So I'm just left with a equals 4. All right, so to check my answer, I'm going to write the original equation on my check. And wherever I see a, I'm going to plug in 4. So let's see, negative 8 times 4 plus 14, 3 times 4 minus 30. And I'm going to know that I got the right answer for my solution if both sides of my check equal the same number. So let's see if they do. Negative 8 times 4 is negative 32 plus 14. Negative 32 plus 14 is negative 18. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 30 is negative 18. So since I got the same value on both sides of my check, this answer is correct. So let's try the next one. I'm going to start by splitting my equation down right at the equal sign. And I see that over on this side, there's a little bit of a distribution that needs to happen. There's a negative 1 in front of the parentheses. I know you only see the negative sign, but that means that there's a negative 1, and we have to distribute the negative 1 to everything inside of the parentheses. So that's going to give us negative x plus 7, because a negative times a negative is a positive, equals 4x minus 23. So I see that I have a negative x on the left-hand side and a positive 4x on the right-hand side. I want to move the one with the lower coefficient. In this case, the coefficient is negative 1. So I'm going to add 1x to both sides. Negative 1x and 1x I can cross off because they add up to 0. And I'm left with 7 equals 5x minus 23. I'm going to add 23 to both sides. Negative 23 plus 23 I can cross off because they add up to 0. And I'm left with 30 equals 5x. I'm going to divide both sides by 5. I can cross off 5 divided by 5 because that equals 1. So I'm left with 1x, or just x, equals 6. So to check if my answer is 6 is correct, I'm going to write my equation on my check. And every time that I see x, I'm going to plug in 6. So negative 6 minus 7, 4 times 6 minus 23. Now I'm going to solve using order of operations. 6 minus 7 is negative 1. So this is negative, negative 1, and a negative is a positive. So that's a 1. This is 24 minus 23, and I also get 1. Since I have the same value on either side of my check, I know that my answer is correct. I hope this was helpful. Please see me if you have any questions.